Oh, hello there. I didn't see you come in. Welcome to Bitcoin Talk Show. This is Bitcoin Talk Show live on the World Crypto Network. You could call us at 1-516-900-4WCN. That's 4926. Or Skype Bitcoin Talk Show. One word, Bitcoin Talk Show. We're live on followthecoin.com, home of Dogecoin and Blackcoin. We're live on worldcryptonetwork.com. We're live on madbitcoins.com. We're even live on bitcointalkshow.com. And we're joined today by Derrick J. Freeman.
Yo, hey everybody, how's it going? Good to be with you again. Thanks for that awesome introduction, Thomas. Yeah,
That
we've got a
was
lot
the
of
big intro. The big intro.
well, what I like about this show is that it's interactive, that people can call in and be a part of the show, add their own contributions, ask questions, and get some answers. So some of the topics that interest me from this week in Bitcoin is that Apple has finally come knocking on Bitcoin's door once again. It used to be that you could use Bitcoin apps just fine on your iPhone or Apple devices, but then suddenly, around November 2013, just something strange happened as all the Bitcoin apps disappeared from the Apple App Store. And no one seemed to know why. There was no statement about it, but now a PCWorld.com article explains that Apple has opened a new door. They've changed their policy regarding App Store guidelines. Now they emphasize transmitting, quote, approved virtual currencies may be allowed as long as they don't break any laws. Curious to hear who the enforcement will be on that. But it says, quote, apps may facilitate transmission of approved virtual currencies, provided that they do so in compliance with all the state and federal laws for the territories in which the app functions. Now, Thomas, my first question about this change in policy is how is Apple going to enforce where people are spending their Bitcoin or where they're using their app? It would seem to me that the rules of New York wouldn't apply to the rules of California, and if someone is using their app in a way that California permits but New York does not, how is Apple to stop them?
Obviously, the iPhone is going to automatically detect wherever the user is and then judge the user based upon the local laws. It's
Yeah.
called iLocate, iTrack, iVerify, and iCriminalize. We'll also take a look at your music while we're at it.
Yeah, got to make sure you don't have any illegally downloaded songs on that thing. It's just crazy to me that they act like they're going to be able to follow the law. Oh, looks like we have a special guest joining us too.
They made an interesting choice to judge the laws of the physical world, not the laws of the virtual world. Usually Apple is a technology company and they kind of operate on this, what if we can do it? What if we can build an iPhone? What if we can build an iPad? These incredible technologies. This time they're like, what if someone makes it legal? What if someone makes it legal to use a cryptocurrency? Then we could. Did someone make it legal to make an iPhone? Like, that destroyed the BlackBerry industry. What about, think of the BlackBerry, Derek. What about the BlackBerry?
Well, I also wonder, yeah, about the BlackBerry. There are a lot of people who enjoyed that and wrote to the BlackBerry company, asked them to stick around, and they have.
With their keyboards, tapping with their keyboards.
A lot of people still need those keyboards, and whatever. There are lots of good qualities to them, but BlackBerry's customers seem to interact, and Apple's customers are the same, and I would wonder if Apple is responding to the complaints of their consumers, people with iPhones who said, hey, I was just using a Bitcoin app, and now it's gone. What the hell, Apple? Do you think that they're listening to their customers, or is this an unrelated move?
I wish that was true, but I mean, I watched the entire Worldwide Developers Conference yesterday on Apple's live stream shortly after the event when they released the video, and really it's more about the way that they interact with different applications layers. Apple is really opening up the iPhone in a lot of ways, and it's not really related to Bitcoin. They're basically allowing developers more access to the system. Things like the Skype SKYPE Swipe, I think, keyboard where you keep your finger on the keyboard the whole time. That used to be impossible on the iPhone because they wouldn't allow you access to the keyboard because the keyboard was kind of a protected area of the operating system. Now they're opening up that area. So I think in the same way they're opening up the virtual currencies area, which could cost them a lot of money on in-app purchases, on App Store purchases, even in the iTunes Music Store. A competing music store could very easily have Bitcoin, and you could buy all your music through Bitcoin. So.
Thomas, who did you recommend to people with iPhones when they said, "Hey, I'm ready to get my first Bitcoin wallet. Where do I sign up?"
Well, back when it used to work, I would just recommend the blockchain app. I thought the blockchain was pretty simple, very secure, and just a wallet. If people want to link it to their bank account, I would recommend the Coinbase app, which I never actually got to use, but I heard was a cool app, and I generally like what Coinbase has been doing. So you just
Yeah.
get one of those apps and get going. I mean, right now, I still have a unlocked or jailbroken iPhone, and that allows me to install from the Cydia App Store the blockchain app. So it's a full-featured blockchain app, and regardless of what Apple decides, you can always install software on a phone that you've paid for. That's my opinion. That's a lot of other people's opinion. Whether or not the Apple App Store, it's not their opinion, but it's everyone else's. So.
Did you ever use Glyph? Or I don't know if you had an iPhone or got to play
Sure.
with them.
I was a fan of Glyph. I like I mean, it needed some tweaks. It was a very beta program. I remember at the time you were limited at sending like a 0.01 of a bit, which at the time was about $1, but now is about, well, it was about $10. Now it's about $6.50 or so. So it's just funny to see that the app really needed some work there to allow for different values, especially as Bitcoin was just careening upward all the time. So.
Yeah, another one that I would recommend to people back before it was possible is Preve, which I think was unveiled at in Austin during the South by Southwest conference. Preve had a big presence there, right? Weren't they even handing out some Bitcoin, or am I remembering that wrong?
That's funny. I think of Preve mainly as a conversion website. They have that great dollar to Bitcoin conversion you can type in. It gives you the live price. I didn't even know they had a Bitcoin wallet.
Well, it's not a wallet per se. It's just something that people who use iPhones could use. As I understand it, now I don't use an iPhone and haven't for years, but I try and stay up on these things for other people who are like ready to get into Bitcoin, and they're like, "Darn, I'm handicapped by Apple." So,
Well,
what can
I know that right now users can go to Fiva, Phee.
That's the one. That's the one I was thinking of. I just got mistaken.
Preve is a conversion, but Fiva is a full-featured Bitcoin wallet. It's just a little different. You have to join their collective first, then you're allowed to download the software directly from them. So it's not in the App Store. You actually have to go to their webpage either on your phone, pretty much on your phone. You go through on their phone, they send you an email. In the email is the link that lets you download the app, and it shows up. It's a regular app on your iPhone. And it recently added the ability to buy gift cards, GYFT, direct from the app. So it sounds
cool. Oh, that's sweet. That's what I want. That's a little bit better than the blockchain app right now because I use those gift cards all the time, and you can't do it quickly and easily from the blockchain app. I mean, it's pretty quick, but I want it to be 1 second as opposed to 5 sequends.
Absolutely.
So
it's inline shopping at Target or something, right?
Exactly. Yeah. The desk and everything that I'm using here, it's all through those gift cards. So Fiva is spelled Pheeva.
I got a Fiva. That's very true. And
Right.
Megan Lords recently did an interview with the developers of Fiva. So check that out on Megan Lords, MK Lords Bitcoin channel.
As more and more places begin to accept Bitcoin, as Apple allows their customers to use hot Bitcoin wallets, I'll be asking more and more businesses if they are willing to accept Bitcoin. I notice we're joined by special guest and co-host Will Pangman. I wonder if he has anything to say about that in regards to a recent Reddit post.
Oh yeah, it just like occurred to me last night. I mean, it's something that I had thought to do if folks who are listening don't, I'm not a coder, I don't have a background. I think lots of people come into Bitcoin, at least these days, don't have a coding or technical background. They're just excited by the technology, or maybe they come from finance or business or whatever. And so that's kind of like where I come from, and I want like many of us who are neck deep in this space to live more and more of my life in Bitcoin, in and around Bitcoin, have a Bitcoin job, and these kinds of things. And so I thought, man, if I was on the sales or marketing staffs of these large Bitcoin businesses, like Circle, BitPay, Coinbase, GoCoin, the merchant processing services in particular, then I would like just going over Reddit every day. I mean, there's tons of good ideas that people have on Reddit of like, oh, we should have so-and-so accept Bitcoin. And a lot of these are kind of half-baked. Maybe they're poorly coordinated efforts to get a few emails sent out to these companies,
Yeah, I see this all the time too. One person on Reddit gets the idea, hey, wouldn't it be great if Walmart accepted Bitcoin? And then they spend all their time and energy trying to focus on, hey, Walmart, accept Bitcoin. But they're only one person. So there's no coordinated effort behind this. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes there is. Sometimes they get a thread going, and there's people who are like, I just send in mine, and this kind of thing. That's really cool. One of the things I've seen be really effective on a local level, and so this is for any of you viewers out there who are wondering, how can I get my local favorite store or restaurant to accept Bitcoin? A really good way to do that is if you are part of a meetup in your area, bring it up as a topic in the meetup, like, hey, let's all post on Bob's Coffee Shop their Yelp profile. Let's leave them positive comments about why we like their business, and then throw in our polite positive comments something about how we would prefer it if they would accept Bitcoin, and let them know that there's a lot of noise out there of people who would be interested in using it. And that's great. That really works. It's worked for us here in Milwaukee with a couple places. But it doesn't do the whole job, because these businesses need help. What was that?
How's it going in Milwaukee with Bitcoin adoption?
It's going pretty good.
How many?
Let's see. How many? I don't even know, because so many of them have never been to the meetup. They haven't even like called us for support or help. It's just other people who are learning about Bitcoin on their own, and then we see that they're accepting Bitcoin on CoinMap or something, and then I reach out to them and I'm like, this is great that you're doing this, and tell me the story behind it. So it's new places all the time. Recently there was
some disconnect like that between Philly. When I was part of the Bitcoin meetup group in Philly, we would meet once a week in a major transportation area, and I was noticing that there were Bitcoin stores popping up, like restaurants and gift shops and stuff, and they had never been to a meetup. They were just doing it independently. They sometimes weren't even aware that there was this resource available for them. What do you think we can do about that disconnect that there seems to be between Bitcoin businesses and these meetups and their customers?
Yeah. In many ways, I think it's a sign of the health of the whole ecosystem, that there would be people, business owners who would accept this, jump in, both feet, without having the community support that, or even the inspiration that they might have derived from a meetup. That's kind of like a 2013 thing, maybe. I don't know. But I think it's a sign of really good health, that, like someone says, hey, do you know there's a hotel accepting, or they come up to me and like, Will, good job getting this hotel to accept Bitcoin. I'm like, what? Wait, huh? What? And it's...
Yeah, well, it's even you.
It was...
So, you posted to Reddit very earlier today, late last night. I think it was you. At least I'm suspicious because of the name. So, and I want to read an excerpt from what you wrote here. So, now that the big boy Bitcoin players have gotten major funding and have full sales and marketing staffs, it's time we helped their staff members with some leads. Every day, some visionary Redditor in this sub conjures the next great notion of who must accept Bitcoin to make our universe complete. What's missing? Why? Teamwork and follow-through, of course. Redditors could collaborate with the sales professionals at these Bitcoin bastion businesses. I guess, I don't know, to put some muscle behind their pitches. Lord knows the sales pros at the companies that offer merchant payment processing for Bitcoin are pounding the pavement, keyboards, and dial pads to reach decision makers at Amazon, eBay, Wikipedia, Netflix, Airbnb, Uber, Costco, Nintendo, Groupon, slash you name it. So it's all of these places. And you make a great point about this. I noticed that one of the top comments in response is from an employee at Coinbase who responds to you saying the best thing you could possibly do to increase acceptance of Bitcoin would be to approach businesses yourself. It's one thing when a company says to another company, "Hey, trust me, your customers want this." It's quite another thing when the actual customers are saying it. And there's a link that Coinbase is hiring along these lines. So check out Will Pangman's Reddit post over on the Bitcoin Reddit page, and check out that link from Coinbase. I think that's an exciting opportunity for all of us, all the evangelists out there who are saying, darn it, there aren't enough businesses in my town that accept Bitcoin. Well, now there's an incentive for you as well. That's not just another place where you can spend it. Looks like Coinbase is hiring along those lines. That would be pretty cool. Is that something you would consider, Will?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I've got a full plate of Bitcoin projects at the moment, but yeah, I mean, it's always been something I've wanted to do. Is it's weird. I'm working for myself these days, which is really great flexibility and stuff. But I'd always wanted to, let's say months ago, before finding myself with these self-employed projects or whatever, wanted to work for one of these companies and sought employment there. Even prior to some serious rounds of funding that they've recently raised. So yes, it is attractive. I don't know if I want to have a boss again yet, but it's for anyone out there who thinks they have skill. Like, here's the trick, right? So these sales staffs are pounding their keyboards every day, looking for, man, I wonder who I could hook. I wonder who I can reach out to today. And they probably make, hopefully they make 50 to 200 calls a day. Some of them maybe make fewer and higher quality calls, and that's great too. But what's missing is the coordination from the noise of the community and the professional outreach, lead generation, prospecting, and closing of deals going on by these sales staffs at these companies. So if there could be some
happening because of this new Coinbase opportunity.
Yeah.
I mean, it just seems like there hasn't been. There are the two big players, BitPay and Coinbase, who are helping speed this adoption along. And what the noise, as you call it, people like you and me who are just talking to businesses in our hometowns and saying, please accept Bitcoin, and occasionally writing emails to Amazon. There was no direct incentive for us. We can't, I don't call up BitPay and Coinbase and talk about how things are going in Keene, New Hampshire or Milwaukee, but now there is. I think we just needed to be connected to that, I don't know what to call it, that organization.
Yeah. So some employees from Coinbase or BitPay can be on Reddit, and we know they are. Employees for these companies are on Reddit, and there can be some informal collaboration going on where, I mean, if I was working at those companies, I'd be like, oh, they're after Airbnb today. Awesome. I'm going to make, 6 points of contact today at Airbnb, and not only will Airbnb know that there's customers who want to spend their Bitcoins with them, but they'll also know that there's a really trusted resource that they can use to actually make the integration very easy for them. So
yeah. So if it's not clear to everyone, your idea is that you are going to select a business target that customers will be able to send messages to, and that could change depending on the day. And so you say you pick Amazon one day, and everyone on the Bitcoin Reddit page takes 5 minutes out of their day to write an email or a customer service survey and talk about, I want you to accept Bitcoin. And you
or
think
a tweet.
that everyone,
a tweet is great.
A tweet, or if everyone in some way interacted socially with the companies they want to accept Bitcoin, and they all had a target together where they were collaborating on this on a daily project, then that would be sure to increase our odds of having adoption. Is that the idea?
Yeah, I mean, when you read the responses that, when press contact businesses that would be maybe likely suspects to accept Bitcoin next, and they talk to their heads of business development or whatever, the replies that they get are, oh, that's really interesting, and we're looking at it, and it's certainly innovative, whatever, but we just don't see an application, or we're not hearing from our customers that they would use it, or that. Those are their,
Right.
excuses. And so, I mean, that's an easy thing to solve, right? If they're not seeing customers who want to spend their money that way with them, well, let them know that there are out there.
I'll tell you what it's like for me. I recently moved to a town called Keene, New Hampshire, and there are some stores in the town that already accept Bitcoin. That's awesome. I use Gift for other things, like to shop at Target and the Home Depot, but there are other stores that I want to be able to go to that don't accept Bitcoin yet. And so I've been going into these businesses, buying a couple of items, and then saying, hey, can I pay in Bitcoin, or have you heard of Bitcoin? And it's been going well among businesses that are independently owned. So, for example, I went into a store called Local Burger, and the owner was all about it. He instantly understood the concept, digital cash. He was like, this is a college town. Young people are going to be using this. I need to figure it out. Plus, wait, what? Are you saying it's free to accept Bitcoin? There's no charges for that? And I can get the money the next day. This is even faster than credit cards, lower fees than credit cards, less private information. Like everything that a new person learns about Bitcoin, especially as a business owner, they're like, all right, where do I sign up? How do I get started? So I helped him set up a Coinbase account. Not that I have any allegiance one way or another to any company at this point, but that was an easy one for him to use. And I'll be going back into the store just to check up. But it would be great if there was some sort of financial incentive. Like for me, I could have gone yesterday and gone to see like how to go signing up for Coinbase. If I was getting paid, then I would have made different economic decisions about how to spend my time, right? So I think this Coinbase opportunity could be a really good one. I'd like to see one out of BitPay as well, if there isn't already.
Yeah, BitPay used to, and this is kind of where these ideas originated with me. Last summer, BitPay was rolling out a partner program, an affiliate partner program, which paid a very small commission, apportioned off of the very small transaction fee that they charge for businesses to accept Bitcoin payments. And so the incentive was small, very, very small, but and all the onus was on the partner, like someone like, let's say me, I still have that affiliate partner relationship with them, so I often recommend BitPay, and I'm well versed in how to set it up in a number of different platforms for local businesses and online businesses too, which has been great, so I kind of, in my own sort of grassroots way, have a very tiny incentive to do that bridging of the gap as one person, but it's a lot more effective when it's a group of people. They need to know that, like, I can go into a business and say, I'm one customer, I'm very loyal, I would shop here every day, I can actually also help you integrate this, make it very easy for you, and they look at that and they're like, oh yeah, that all sounds good, but you're one customer, right? So that's where the more noise comes from. And so they do have that relationship, but here's a couple ideas that I think would be increase the incentive. So we're seeing, well, I'll say this one first. The first one I would say is like for Coinbase. If they allowed people who have a Coinbase account for buying and selling Bitcoin out of their personal bank account or whatever, to have that like integration specialty or whatever, and if they are winning converts of these businesses and getting them signed up with Coinbase like you did, Derrick, with Local Burger, then maybe they could waive your transaction fee for a month, and you have free transactions on Coinbase on your personal account to buy and sell. Or maybe there could be a more attractive incentive that's not very cost prohibitive for them, but really sweetens the deal for you.
Yeah,
like,
More perks, and they'll certainly develop as there's competition between BitPay and Coinbase for these types of employees. I'm curious more about your not protest, but your idea on Reddit about selecting a target for Bitcoin adoption, because that's something that everyone can do together. Like, yeah, not everyone could go to their local businesses, walk inside, and say, "Hey, can you accept Bitcoin?" It sounds easy, easier said than done, though. A lot of people don't want to break out of their shell or not comfortable going up to a business owner and talking to them about accepting a new form of currency. As exciting as Bitcoin is, not everyone's interested in doing that, and they're much more comfortable behind the keyboard. So your idea about targeting businesses, I think, would appeal to a wider audience. What business do you think should be first?
Let's see. Where are we? I would like to figure out which one is closest. Like maybe that's Wikipedia. Maybe
I
that's
think Netflix.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, Netflix is like, why haven't they done it already? It doesn't. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Well, I think it's hard for some of these subscription-based models to figure out how they would integrate Bitcoin without some sizable overhaul of their back end. You know. So especially with the push nature of Bitcoin, the push transaction nature of it, it's hard, and it's coming. But and you can do this through multisig probably now today, but that's tough. Subscription models have a hard time integrating Bitcoin, much harder than say a retail setup.
Yeah, for Netflix it would be tough. They would probably roll it out for just instant download only, because you could take that away in an instant if somebody doesn't pay their subscription re-up. But on the flip side, with Netflix, I think you have to sign up with a credit card so that if you just, for example, steal all their DVDs and don't send any back, then they still charge your card for that. But you couldn't do that with Bitcoin. You can't just charge a Bitcoin account.
Yeah, that introduces another little wrinkle too, because they might still require that you enter a credit card even if you never ever pay from it, just for that security on their end.
God, I hope not. That would be awful.
Yeah, I know. I believe. Oh, what's the service? Oh, I'm pretty sure joinsnapcard.com does that. I have to double check, but I don't want to give them any bad pub or whatever. But I think they do that, where they of course are happy to accept Bitcoin. Their whole business model is as a proxy service, so that anything that you cannot purchase online with Bitcoin, you can using Join Snapcard. Joinsnapcard.com. The company is called Snapcard, and it's really neat service, and it's really seamless the way they've set it up. But I think what they do is they take the risk and they'll like ship you the product and then send you an invoice to pay later with Bitcoin. And in order to set that up, I think if you want to do that, then you have to upload credit card information in case you don't ever pay, and then they can get their money that from the product they sent you that way. Which, yeah, it's a wrinkle. Again, here we're in this like really weird place of between these two paradigms. So
well, it's also coming off the heels of Apple accepting Bitcoin in a way. I mean, they're allowing it in their app store. It's not that they're accepting it for pay for their particular apps, but it's one step closer. And I imagine we didn't get to hear your thoughts on the development of Apple opening the door for Bitcoin in the App Store. What are your thoughts on that, Will?
Yeah, I think it's great. It's smart. I remember we did a Bitcoin group episode several weeks ago, kind of right after the Apple thing got pulled, and our predictions segment of the show was.
We're like, they're going to come back.
Yeah, I think all of us predicted that. We have to go back and view it, but.
Yeah, they were probably tuning into the show. That's why they decided that.
Yeah.
I was also reading something interesting, because when I was talking to the guy at Local Burger, he was just assuming, since I'm paying on the phone, this is a young people thing. He's not that old, but he's an older guy, and I was like, yeah, I guess so. Even though the people that I know who are using Bitcoin are pretty much across the spectrum. It's not just young people. But then I saw this news item: rapper 50 Cent accepts Bitcoin for new album Animal Ambition. And I thought this was huge news. I'm not a huge fan or anything of 50 Cent, but I'll be supporting him. I'll be buying his new album because, darn it, I want more rappers and people and more celebs should be accepting Bitcoin. That's good news for Bitcoin. I want him to say like, yeah, I decided to accept Bitcoin for this album, and I sold more records than I ever have before. It should be a smash.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, he's going to get, hopefully thousands, but at least several hundred customers that he never ever would have otherwise had. He'll also, if he holds on to the Bitcoins themselves, which we don't know if he is or not, probably likely not, but if he did, along with the other fiat stream of sales he's got coming in, he could recapitalize using the appreciation of Bitcoin over time, right? I mean, so there's so many advantages, especially for artists or any industry that's sort of having trouble or going through a transition, much like the music industry and media in general. Newspaper, Hollywood, and the music industry are all going through these trying times, or trying to find new legs in the digital economy here. So again, Bitcoin is the answer for them. And some of them are realizing it. I was so surprised to hear that it was 50 Cent first and not someone like Akon, who I know was at Coin Summit in San Francisco a couple months ago, or month and a half ago or whatever, and was really hot to trot about Bitcoin there, I've heard. So 50 was out of left field, right? Like I didn't hear anything.
No, out of left field. Because remember, Snoop Dogg was talking about it last year in 2013. Snoop Dogg was talking about accepting Bitcoin last year. So I think 50 Cent is like late to the game. He's just catching up.
Right. Yeah. I mean, are they affiliated? I know these rappers, they change affiliations and they work together and then they don't. And I don't know. Are 50 and Snoop Lion or Snoop Dogg or whatever affiliated at the moment?
They're affiliated in that they are both rappers who are competing for the same listeners.
No East Coast West Coast rivalry anymore?
I have no idea about any of that.
Oh, that's over. They buried that thing. But it wasn't a surprise for me to see 50 Cent on there, because if anyone has been reading GQ, there was a great profile on 50 Cent where they said 50 Cent is my life coach, where 50 Cent trained the guy up and taught him things. It's a really fascinating article. You really get inside 50 Cent's head. So.
Yeah. That's funny. I read that too. I always had a crush on 50 Cent. He was one of my first celebrity crushes. So I'm just excited that he's now accepting Bitcoin. It's just so fitting.
Yeah,
Perfect.
It's cool. I mean, he's gonna bring this to a lot. I mean, this is great. Like, it's hard to get this message out to people who maybe only have a handheld device and don't have a computer. Because Bitcoin hasn't gone completely mobile yet, like say social media has. So this. Yeah, I mean, this is a whole new audience to experience this term, this whole meme of Bitcoin, and I'm excited to welcome them with open arms. I hope we can capture them all, catch them all, and guide them all, to like the incredible empowerment that Bitcoin provides.
Hey, what's this guest I see? Do we have a guest on the show?
Yep, this is Theo. He's joining us. I told him to join quietly. So.
Hey, Theo. Well, I just ruined your quiet entrance. How's it going?
Super hot spot now.
Mute yourself whenever you feel like joining us. Maybe this entrance is too quiet. Well, anyway, I'm curious about Ron Paul coin. Tell us about that, Thomas.
I don't know anything about Ron Paul coin. All I said is that in the Mad Bitcoins Coin of the Week contest, which is still going on, even though not many people are donating, that Ron Paul coin is now in first place. That's right, and that Vert coin is the coin of the week.
Tell me how this thing works.
The coin of the week contest. It's a brilliant contest. The benefits go to the Mad Bitcoins show, and basically you vote with your coin. So if you're a fan of Ron Paul coin, you send Ron Paul coin to this address. If you don't see your coin listed here, you can vote for your coin at this Cryptsy trade key, where you can send any coin that's on Cryptsy to be added to this list of distinguished coin of the weeks.
Are you familiar with the effect, Thomas, of where good money chases bad, or is it the other way around? It's where people want to spend their bad money first. So if I had, say, Bitcoin and cash, I would want to get rid of the cash first and hold the Bitcoin because I think that's more valuable. So doesn't your competition sort of disincentivize? It sort of does the opposite, where instead of coin of the week, It's actually worst coin because more people are willing to send you Ron Paul coin than anything. So doesn't that mean Ron Paul is
I
the...
think you're looking at this about like 3 or 4 weeks in. We've already gone through Purecoin, Feathercoin, Dogecoin, Blackcoin, have all been sponsors of the Mad Bitcoins program. More likely, I think this contest just does great things to enrich Mad Bitcoins. It's incredibly transparent.
That's fair.
But people donate coin, and the values were going good. I mean, I was going to slow it down a little, not really talk about it, but you're excited by Ron Paul coin, so we're moving on to Ron Paul coin. In Ron, we trust.
But I don't. And that's
Let's see.
hilarious. What's different about a Ron Paul coin? What are some of its features?
Well, it looks like there's not a lot of them. There's only 2,100,000 Ron Paul coins, so 10% less than Bitcoin. I love this list: Ron Paul coin, Bitcoin, Litecoin, Feathercoin, and then Ron Paul coin is script based and ASIC resistant. I don't know how those two go together. It seems like if it's script based, you could mine it with script. There's zero pre-mining
time ago.
Maybe
this was written in 2012.
Yeah, this is this is the original announcement from 2013, December.
Oh right. Well, that's very exciting. Good job, Ron Paul coin. How's it doing? What's the market cap on Ron Paul coin? You gonna get that answer for us?
Let's see.
And in the meantime, it looks like Theo has joined us. Hey, Theo.
We can hear you, but we can't see you.
No, it's the other way around.
There's a buzzing sound.
I can see you, but I can't hear you.
Yeah.
Hello. Yeah.
Nope, you just sound like buzzing.
That's all right. We'll wait. It's a live show, so we can always. Oh,
Better?
Nice. I think I hear you now. Yes,
Yeah,
that's much better.
Take the hit. I guess the microphone wasn't working.
Yeah,
I think that
just
Ron Paul has Ron Paul has some really weird ideas about Bitcoin, so it's kind of ironic that there's a coin named after him, because every time he talks about it, he just has like a different opinion. One time he kind of likes it, the other time he doesn't really like it. He just seems really confused about it, so it's really kind of funny to have a coin dedicated to him.
That's because he's a politician and he has to talk out of both sides of his mouth.
Yeah, that's true, maybe.
He's retired now. He can enjoy his coin. Ron Paul coin is in 202nd place with market cap of $19,000. It's worth about 100 and I don't know what's these. I guess it's worth like 30.
I think that's the same place he came in 2012.
It's lost about 25% of its value in the last 24 hours, and it's worth about 27 cents a coin. But 27 cents is actually pretty high cryptocurrency-wise. So.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I bet you that one reason it's worth so much is that the block reward is probably really low, as opposed to something like Dogecoin.
I don't know. It sounds like Theo just dumped all his Ron Paul coin.
Oh yeah.
There's nothing like Dogecoin.
Why? Why do you like Dogecoin so much?
I just like all the things they say about it. They're always talking about Dogecoin. Everyone is a huge fan.
I'm liking Doge. I'm liking it more than Bitcoin these days. It's about the community.
Yeah,
it stopped being, with all the altcoins, it stopped being about the features of the coins, and it started being about what the community is doing with the coins. And I have to say, I'm more excited by, well, I don't know, there's been good charity stuff like Satoshi Forest and Sean's Outpost and feeding people in Africa, providing water. That all happened with Bitcoin. But the same stuff is happening with Doge too, plus more entertaining stuff, like the NASCAR thing. Like, not that I watch NASCAR, but you know what I'm saying? Like, Doge, they just get into it. They seem younger somehow. Like, Bitcoin is the old coot, and Doge is the new bird.
It's been a very exciting public relations project. I don't know that it was well spent on Dogecoin.
No. I want to hear more about Theo. What's your project?
What's my project? Well, I've got a bunch of projects. Which one would you like to hear about?
The most Bitcoiny one.
Just today I was fine-tuning my altcoin name generation system.
Tell us about that.
Is this a spin-off of your altcoin FUD generator from last week? I know that.
Yeah, well, the FUD base, but yeah, the altcoin generator, it just creates a new name for an altcoin, and it has everything you need. It has the algorithm, total coins, if there's a pre-mine or not, and it also has a short announcement thread ready to go. And all you got to do is then do the technical stuff.
Brilliant.
Can you bring it up on the screen share right now?
Yeah, give us an example.
Yeah, I can. I'll load it. And I even got a little creative, and I just thought of some new algorithms, even though they don't exist yet. You know.
Wow.
Like Script Mary, Ultra Script.
I've heard about X13, the new one that's a competitor to X11.
Yeah, what about X13 is nothing. What about X5000?
Sounds like your video still has volume on, but yeah, Expert 5000, Expert 23, X11 2705.
Exactly.
Like, that's way more algorithms.
Proof of stake, 50% interest a year. Proof of stake, secret backdoor, proof of chain, proof of work, proof of stake, proof of chain. There's all these combinations.
Yeah, you gotta combine the words together. Proof of chain work, proof of stake work, proof of.
Yeah, what it's all about now? The newest trend. You know, we had those different waves. You know, we had the Dogecoin started the animal wave, and you had kitty coin, cat coin, I don't know, animal coins, and that kind of funny stuff. And then you had the national wave. We already talked about. You know, you got like Maza coin, Aurora coin, and then you had all the spin-off Spain coin, Greece coin, whatever country coin, and then and now you got the anonymous coins. And now every announcement that I read, it's like X11, X12, X13, the first anonymous coin. So every new coin that has X in the name is the first anonymous coin ever. Have you noticed that?
The most overused marketing in Bitcoin is world's first whatever. Everything I read is always world's first whenever, oftentimes when it's not the world's first. So.
That's true, yeah.
Altcoins are definitely all the rage now. Don't forget the proof of stake coins. Black coin, white coin, blue coin, orange coin, the original, pure coin, and several others. Very popular. It seems like maybe it was a month ago. It seems like another world. Like before the dark coin bump, there was a big black coin bump. Went all the way up to 50,000 Satoshis. Now it's about 30,000 Satoshis. There's been a lot of hot coins, but I agree with you. Anonymous coins are the ones. I just heard yesterday on Dark News about Monero, and Crypto Night is a new algorithm, and Bytecoin.
That's pretty cool. No, I like that stuff. That's really interesting.
It sounds good. I'm in favor of the idea.
Speaking of these altcoins, I like ones that are useful for things. Like, I was really jazzed about Namecoin, for example, because I heard that it had the possibility of being used to replace like DNS servers, or the government having control, or like ICANN. And basically, Namecoin gave people the opportunity to register their own domains for very cheap and without central authority controlling everything. But that just didn't really happen. No one's really using Namecoin for that, even though there's this amazing possibility for this altcoin to provide people with a handy service. So I was talking to someone who helped develop an app to help use Namecoin to register domains, and he wasn't even excited about Namecoin anymore. He's like, forget Namecoin. That stuff's old. It's all forgotten. The developers aren't even interested. They're slow in their roll and everything. And he was more excited about using BitShares to do the same thing that Namecoin did. Could that even work? What do you think?
BitShares, is it like Counterparty, Mastercoin, one of these metacoin generators?
What? No, BitShares. It's a thing.
Well,
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if BitShares is like a bootstrap of the Bitcoin, but I think so. Was BitShares called ProtoShares too, or is that something else?
Yeah, it's my understanding that ProtoShares become BitShares when at a certain point when they launch.
well, I'm glad there's a lot of names and a lot of words and a lot of terminology.
No, it's not just names and words. BitShares and ProtoShares are something different and important. They are like programmable blockchains, right? So you've got a blockchain and you can store programs on it, and that's a big deal. Because, like, I guess how Namecoin offered users the ability to register domain names that they wanted. You would just write a program to do that with BitShares, and it would be the DNS or the domain coin or the domain BitShare or something. I mean, I don't know how it works. Has anyone used BitShares yet? I'm guessing no from the responses that I got earlier.
I haven't used BitShares, and I keep wanting to use Namecoin, but I still haven't done it. But what Namecoin does have is somebody created something called MeowBit. Like
Meow.
the sound of the. And so that makes it pretty simple to browse .bit domains, and it should make it easier just to use the whole Namecoin infrastructure in general. And I don't.
Cool, and that's great software, but why wouldn't you just use BitShares to do the same thing and not need the software?
I don't know. Why do you need altcoins, I guess? I mean, you can do a lot of stuff with Bitcoin. I don't know. I have no idea what the technology is. Maybe the person... You can register domains with Bitcoin.
That's why. No, I think our language is being misunderstood. Yes, you can register domains with Bitcoin, but you're doing it through a third party. With Namecoin, you're registering them directly with the coin. It's one of the uses of the coin. Whereas Bitcoin.
It's not regulated by ICANN. I know what you mean. I'm just saying that. You could do it with maybe you can do it with BitShares. I'm really not sure. Maybe you could theoretically somehow do
I want to
it
know how.
with another coin. I don't know how
it's just over. I want to know how it works. I want to see some of these BitShares in action.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell you that Namecoin doesn't work very well yet. I bought some Namecoin domains a while ago, and I heard they had a fork, and that my domains went away. So, yeah, that's what I heard. So stuff like that can happen in these strange, new, exciting worlds, and even then, I couldn't really get them to work anyway. I mean, I tested on it.
I've used them successfully. I've used .bit domains. I've used MeowBit. I've used the standard Namecoin client to register domains. It's all easy. You can do it easily. It's just that people don't do it. I think there's so much to do, and they don't know what stuff is worth doing. I guess that's part of the reason why this conversation is valuable. Now people know there is such a thing as Namecoin. You can register domain names with it. Go and use it if you want. Or if you find BitShares more easier to use, then do that and get back to us. Tell us how that's done, because I want to know.
The other neat thing about Namecoin is that it's merged mined with Bitcoin. So that if you mine Bitcoin on a lot of websites, they'll give you Namecoin as well. And this was an idea that was adopted early on to allow Namecoin to survive without a dedicated group of miners. Dogecoin considered the same idea with Litecoin, but said no recently.
So what else is going on in the world of Bitcoin that's exciting to you guys? Oh, check it out. The Libertarian Party of Canada accepts Bitcoin donations. That's good news. Checking that out from the Bitcoin Reddit page. Apparently it's true. There's a picture.
Breaking news. We talk about this. That according to CoinDesk.com, red flags raised over Hong Kong Bitcoin exchange HKCEX.
What? Oh no.
It
What red
says
flags?
he wanted to deposit. He put in 1,000 Litecoins. Then there were some extra Litecoins in there. Then
What?
someone has doubts on putting money in this exchange. Let's see. He felt they were trustworthy. He flipped his Litecoins for Bitcoins and wanted to withdraw the balance, but soon the experience went sour. He noticed the withdrawal status had changed from processing to rejected. He was told he had to send a notarized copy of his passport to HKCEX in Hong Kong because his account had been flagged for money laundering. Klaus has still not received his funds today. Bum, bum, bum.
Yeah, this is going to keep happening, especially with places where, like places of high regulation where businesses can still be conducting themselves without complying, because it's so big or the regulations are so ridiculous or whatever, like there's a tradition, I know Andreas talks about this sometimes, there's a tradition in like Russia and China of disobedience to these like draconian rules from the government and stuff. So yeah, it's unfortunate, but I don't think we're done being doxxed. I don't think it'll be nearly as bad as that was because everyone is so vigilant now, thankfully. But yeah, it's going to keep happening. It's going to keep making the news. It's going to get more clicks than, Airbnb accepts Bitcoin, So.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Bitstamp got audited recently, and apparently it went well. But yeah, they've been having a lot of people have been complaining about they deposit some bitcoins at Bitstamp, and they want to sell, and then Bitstamp is like, okay, that's great that you want to sell your bitcoins, but we need a little more information. You already have an account with us, so we already have your bank account number and a copy of your ID or passport, but you have to prove that those bitcoins are yours. So can you somehow prove it? I forgot what they asked the person to do.
I'm sure that they asked him to write his number on them with a Sharpie to prove that they're his. That's how I prove my ownership of anything.
I know what you mean. No, there was something technical. They asked him to do maybe some kind of signature of the transaction. I have to go back and find the Reddit link. There's a Reddit link.
Looking at this article from CoinDesk, one thing I can say about this user is he was trying to move around a lot of money. He was moving around 1,000 Litecoins. That's 26 Bitcoins. I mean, if you're moving around that much money, part of the plan might be to break it up into smaller amounts. If he had maybe moved in 100 Litecoin, converted them over, transferred out the couple of Bitcoins, maybe he wouldn't have gotten flagged so much for this. It seems like, I mean, I know it's easy to be lazy, and it's really magical. You can send like huge amounts of cryptocurrency around, but maybe if you have a large amount of it, you should test it in $100 batches or something. Kind of go around slowly. So.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I think the person that wrote the Reddit article about Bitstamp transferred 400 bitcoins from Kraken to Bitstamp, and then Bitstamp was like, okay, you have to prove that these are yours.
Yeah, and how do you prove that? I don't know how you can prove any kind of Bitcoin ownership. I mean, it's kind of a trick that they're using to get your money.
Well, I know personally someone that's something similar. I don't think they transferred 400 bitcoins, but they basically, Bitstamp was like, okay, so how long have you had these bitcoins? Where did you get them from? Did you mine them? Why are you selling them now? I mean, I'm not joking. They really just straight up asked him these kind of questions,
Very strange. So it's all going on still at CoinDesk. Let's see what else is going on at CoinDesk. Oh, earlier we were talking about Netflix. I didn't get a chance to say it, but here's an idea for Netflix. Netflix could function as a Bitcoin wallet. You could send your Bitcoin into Netflix, and then they could cash them out each month for your subscription fee. So if your subscription was like $10 a month and you put $100 in Bitcoin in Netflix, you could just cash it out there.
That'd be a good way to do it, but you still have the same problem of, like, if you have a balance of, say, zero point 0.01 Bitcoin, and then you've got 3 DVDs at home, you might just say, "I'm gonna keep these," and just not have
Nobody rents DVDs anymore. It's my understanding that Netflix is a streaming only service now, and that everyone is into streaming. It's all streaming.
That would be my understanding through the last couple years of usage from it, but I figured there are still some people who get DVDs in the mail. Is that they don't do that anymore?
I think that's only me 5 years ago. They might send out Blu-rays now. Those are the hip ones, not HD DVD.
All right, whatever. For a guy who talks about Bitcoin, I feel like I'm stuck in the past sometimes. Should I go to Blockbuster and pick up some new Nintendo games?
See, and that's why I was talking about the 2008 movie Yes Man last week with Jim Carrey and Zooey Deschanel. It's an excellent movie for anachronisms like Blockbuster Video and cell phones that aren't smartphones. So hopefully everyone watched it over the week.
Speaking of cell phones and movies, there are so many movies that just wouldn't get made if they took place in the age of cell phones. It's kind of it's a good thing that we don't have those inconveniences that were so noteworthy in the past, thanks to smartphones. But a lot of old stories kind of fall by the wayside if you can.
That's very true. There's a lot of romances where they could have just called each other up and there would have been no confusion at all, and they would have met really instantly. Oh, why didn't you just call me? Call me. Oh, well, I'll call you.
Yeah, why didn't you text me? Oh well. Or they could have sent some Bitcoin. There's a lot of opportunities in movies where money has to get moved somewhere safely and securely. A lot of James Bond films. Whoa. Why am I hearing that? Enough tapping on the screen. There are a lot of James Bond movies where the villain, or even James Bond, the movie would be all of 5 minutes because all he has to do is send a Bitcoin transaction and it's over. All the money has been transferred safely and securely. No risk. Well, anyway, we should take a break. We'll come back refreshed, get a bite to eat, get a drink of water, talk about Bitcoin Magazine and the stuff that's going on there, get our audio issues sorted out, all of that good stuff. So what do you think, Thomas? Do you have a screen that we can cut to?
Yeah.
A Bitcoin talk show screen specifically, and then maybe some punk rock or some jazz, whatever you got.
Well, music costs money, so I don't know. We'll have to look for some royalty-free music right now. I don't know if we can.
Oh, really? I thought you had free music or something.
Yeah, we have to go to that.
All right. Well, let's take a break. We'll come back in 5-10 minutes.
Good morning, Bitcoin. And we're back on Bitcoin Talk Show. Turn my fan off. We've got breaking news from Twitter. The Josh Wise Action Racer is available from NASCAR.com. That's right, the Doge car, the Dogecoin car, is now available for $64. I guess because it's made out of platinum. This is a 1 to 24 scale car. I've also been just told that they now have a 1 to 64 scale car. That's much smaller for $7.95, which is much more affordable than $64, but still a real ripoff when you get to the cart and find out that shipping on the little toy car costs more money than the little toy car. Way to hold people out to dry there, NASCAR. Any other shipping methods? It says more shipping methods available in checkout. I wonder if I can get it shipped here faster. Maybe I could pay 4 or 5 times the amount of the item for my toy racing car. Still a very cool car if anybody wants to chip in $20 for me to just randomly waste on a toy. But we've also got CoinJar, the first Bitcoin app to reemerge on the Apple App Store. That's right. You can now get a real Bitcoin wallet on the App Store. I'm going to find my phone and try that out right now. We're also joined by Derrick J. and Theo. What's going on, Derrick and Theo? What do you guys think of the Doge car?
Yo, I don't think it's a ripoff at all. I would consider that one of the, not an investment, but if you're a sentimental person like I am sometimes, I would want to have that on my desk and be like, oh, the Doge car.
I want one, but I'm just torn paying more in shipping than the actual cost of the item.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Maybe we'll put up a donation link, and if we get some donations, we'll buy ourselves some Doge cars.
Don't worry about the price that it says before checkout. Just worry about the price after checkout and decide if that's enough. Because, like, whatever. They're just, yeah, like $10 for shipping a little toy car. They're just trying to throw it in to make a little extra money. So what's wrong with that?
What's wrong with it is it's $10 to ship a toy car.
Yeah, but just don't consider that. The car is actually $20 and just shipping is free. So, CoinJar, why are you excited about this? You have an Android phone, right?
No, I have an iPhone.
You have an iPhone? Oh, go download this thing. Tell us how it works.
I'm not buying any new phone for any reason.
No, you're ridiculous. Well, all right.
And I have a jailbroken iPhone with the Cydia App Store, and I can install the blockchain app just fine. So.
Did you ever use the BitStore? I heard about that at the Inside Bitcoin NYC conference, and there was a guy or two there who had developed a workaround so that you didn't need to jailbreak your phone, but you could download apps through their like third-party app downloader store. It was called the BitStore, and it worked pretty cool. It was easy to use. Have you ever used it?
I never used the Bitcoin App Store. I heard about it, that they were developing it. It sounded really cool. And it doesn't look like I'm going to use CoinJar either, because currently the CoinJar app is only available to iPhone owners in Australia and the United Kingdom. So, unless someone
What
is in Australia or the UK.
what's the difference? What's special about those places?
Well,
With regard
Apple has it region locked to those areas, so they won't let you have it. There must be something about the laws in these countries, or they've applied for it to be approved in these.
So wait a minute. So Apple's going to say, "Oh, we're opening the door for Bitcoin! Hooray! The developers can now use wallets, but only in Australia and a couple other places." Like, I mean, are you serious? You're not going to let American iPhone users download the same app as everyone else?
That is very true. So yes,
That's ridiculous.
it is ridiculous, but it's also very true.
I can hardly believe it. It's such old world thinking. Like, oh, we have to restrict this technology for people in America, and let people down under use. God, I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense. The hell. Hey, I thought it was. There's a lot of cool news over at BitcoinMagazine.com too. And while I was scrolling down, I saw Will Pangman's face.
That happens to a lot of people on Bitcoin Magazine.
Profiles. Yeah, profiles in Bitcoin Outreach. Will Pangman. We should talk about this. You're on the show, Will.
Yeah, a good friend of mine, someone who I met recently, he lives in the Madison area, and he's I think he's a writer for Young Voices. He's all over the place. He works for a startup called Eat Street, which is very much like Grubhub. He does PR for them. His name's Joseph Derrick, and he's like one of the coolest, smartest. He reminds me, and he's good friends with Jeffrey Tucker, so it's really no surprise that he reminds me very much of Jeffrey Tucker, just in his sophistication, mannerisms, and humor, and things like that. But cool, really great guy. I'm so glad that we're friends, and he's doing so much writing these days. And he wanted to interview me and talk about these different projects I'm working on and things, so I was very flattered, and I think our interview was like an hour and a half long, and I'm so amazed that he was able to distill my ramblings down into a concise text there, and he did a really good job of capturing like the essence of what I was trying to communicate in all of my diatribe in our talk. So,
and a lot of the stuff we were talking about earlier about spreading adoption, so good on you. That's really cool to be scrolling down Bitcoin Magazine and see you there.
Yeah,
Well,
I was thrilled mostly to get some word out about Tapiki, which is the startup I'm working for. It's going to be a personal finance application for cryptocurrencies, starting with Bitcoin, but we'll add tons of cryptocurrencies. It's all completely private, fully customizable, a nice way for anyone to see all of their wallets or all of their crypto wealth at a glance and see some nice charts, analytics, and stuff. So if you're interested in that, please check out tapiki.com. That's spelled T as in Thomas, A, P as in Paul, EKE.com. It's a tricky little word. It's a Maori word that means sum or total or held all together. So anyway, there's a little story and stuff about that if you want to check out tapiki.com and sign up for our email list, and I will communicate with you there. We're in development, and it's a really cool project. I think the design is going to blow people away. I think some of the ease of use and functionality is going to blow people away. It's definitely something much needed in Bitcoin apps for ease of use, extra features that don't need to be embedded in the blockchain if you don't want them to be, or it's a really lightweight way, I think, of adding a bunch more features into Bitcoin usage and cryptocurrency usage that people want and are used to in the legacy system, that we can just kind of tag on top of cryptocurrencies and make them more user-friendly. So I'm excited for it. I'm excited for people to try it. And in the meantime, while we're developing here for the next, I think, probably 8 to 10 weeks, we will be communicating with you and offering some specials and beta trials and things like that. And we want a large testing community, and we want input from the community too, because our vision here is to keep this a very private, very sensitive to privacy issues and all of that. So please check it out. Yeah, we're completely Bitcoin. Our company doesn't need a bank account. All employees are paid in Bitcoin completely. So these are all things that I think people can get behind.
Yeah, man, I agree. It sounds like an all-in-one cryptocurrency wallet.
Yeah, it won't be a full wallet because you won't be sending and receiving with Topeki, but you'll be able to share addresses. If you want to do proof of solvency for your business or something like that, shared accounts, things like that, and it'll also allow you to do tracking, planning, forecasting, budgeting, and it'll just add a bunch more features that you might be able to do with blockchain.info, but then they go on the blockchain, and that may be not something you want to do. So yeah, hopefully this will just be a really great tool that people can use to bring more functionality to Bitcoin, and also look nice and feel nice and be a fun, friendly place for people to go. And it's not gonna be like like the first time I downloaded the Satoshi client and used it, I was like, man, this looks like a very simple or kind of old-fashioned application. But so it's a little tough on the eyes for the average computer user, average internet user. And so Topeki hopefully will have that first-rate, sophisticated UI, UX design that people, I think, are used to seeing from the top-end startups that are coming out in tech that are not in Bitcoin. So yeah, I'm hoping that that people really like it, and we want your input as we get closer to the finish line of release here. So please go and sign up for the email list where you can talk with me directly. It's one of my roles with the company. So yeah, topeki.com, and scroll down and find the email sign up. It's a really simple sign up, and we can stay in touch, and I'd love your feedback.
Yeah, absolutely. I will be doing that, topeki.com. Anyone know about Cryptiv? I was reading about this, and it sounds like they're trying to make micropayments easier for people. Have you heard about them? Anyone know Cryptiv? All right, that's fair. But I'm excited about them because micropayments are clearly the future. People being able to pay for a couple cents for a play of a song or for viewing a video. That's the way that people are going to get paid. And one interesting thing that was pointed out at BitcoinMagazine.com is, quote, there's a simple reason as to why strippers in the USA get more tips than strippers in Canada. The dollar bill. Canadian strippers miss out on gain because throwing coins is impractical and giving up a $5 is too much. Doesn't just stop in the strip clubs. The USA generally has a richer tipping culture, which would not be possible without the ease of handing over a single dollar bill to express gratitude, value, and thanks. The dollar bill facilitates easy tipping. And in the same vein, Bitcoin makes tipping even easier by reducing the need for a paper bill at all. And so Cryptiv hopes to... It's an online wallet which makes sending pennies over the internet as nonchalant as giving $1 to a bellboy, as the author Julia Taronsky puts it at BitcoinMagazine.com. I think it's an awesome article and excellent service, one I hope to see. And I'm wondering, Will, what sort of businesses will be using micropayments instead of classic donation model or or receiving no payments at all?
Yeah, I think the usual suspects. Certainly, it's a great. It's a great way for print publications to monetize. They're going the subscription route online, which doesn't work online, but it totally works in the real world with paper delivery, newspaper delivery.
Yeah, there's all these journalists out there who are like losing their jobs and suffering, who are fantastic writers uncovering some valuable truths, but they can't get paid. If they could just change their delivery model so that people could pay a couple of Bitcoin or a couple of cents in Bitcoin to read an article, suddenly these people are employed again.
Yeah, and if you go back and listen to some old or Let's Talk Bitcoin podcasts, I mean, this is something that I think initially had really vexed Adam Levine, and in subsequent months, he's started to kind of unravel this problem and really like massage the solution out, which is a number of things. It's micropayments from cryptocurrency in general. It's some really ingenious business model shifts that really are based on cryptocurrency. And then it's also the user-created asset thing too, which kind of goes hand in hand with the other two things I mentioned. There's a talk he gave, I think it's called Bitcoin's Watershed Moment or something like that, and it's an idea he had back in the day, and I think that idea has morphed into other things. You know, he's got his hands in so many different projects now. But if you're interested in micropayments and just kind of how media in general will change their business models here in the near future, that's a great some thought-provoking stuff to listen to. Yeah. You know, and the way his mind works about that. So
what's the name again?
I think the name of the episode, I don't know if it's the name of the episode, but you could probably search YouTube and find it. It's Bitcoin's Watershed Moment. I'm almost positive that's what it is. Or just search the Let's Talk Bitcoin website for Watershed, and that should bring up a couple things. I know that's what he called it about a year ago this time. And like I said, it's morphed into a number of different projects, I think, for him. But I've really enjoyed watching that. I think he's really pioneering the thought in this kind of area. And then there's all kinds of technologists who will, you know, and are pioneering the development. So that's really interesting. Other places for micropayments, you know, microlending, obviously, like, there's a service that starts with a K, and it's trying to provide microlending in regular fiat. It has been for a while, but it's, you know, it's got its own problems. And Bitcoin, BTC Jam. Does anyone know the name of that company that does that?
Yeah, Kiva.
Kiva. I wanted to say Kiva. Yeah. Okay. So BTC Jam is doing this, and there's lots of other places. It's a great way for people, you know, to get a little interest on their bitcoins, and if they, you know, they don't mind lending them out. And again, like several hundred satoshis goes a long way in some of these developing countries around the world. So several hundred satoshis from a few hundred people can go just so far for them. So I'm really excited. BTC Jam is doing very cool things. Yeah, I'm interested to see how else microtransactions can be used. I think we're kind of seeing this with like websites like Proof of Existence. You know, I think they take like $1, $2 or $3 to upload documents to the blockchain to prove their existence at a point in time, which is a fascinating thing. Pamela Morgan of Empowered Law and the Smart Law podcast has talked about how to do this. This is possible to do today, and it really does save you time and money and court and attorney's fees and things. And it's even more efficacious than some of those processes too, which is really fascinating. It's just a great sign of what's to come and what's actually available today. So Proof of Existence, you know, maybe they could get their fee down. If they got more traffic, they could get their fee down, and it would be more of like a microtransaction type of thing. So,
I would love.
Yeah, there's other applications that we're going to be surprised by, which is great.
While I have you here, I know you're friends with Tatiana Moroz. What's going on with Tatiana Coin?
Yeah, so Tatiana Coin is the first artist user-created asset that is basically a mechanism for crowdfunding her art. She's a musician, singer, songwriter. She's got a gorgeous voice, and she plays some great guitar. Her originals are awesome, and she plays some really great covers too. Gosh, yeah, she plays some great covers. But
work.
Yeah, how it works. Okay, so every week, I know she's doing a hangout chat, kind of like we're doing here with Adam Levine of Let's Talk Bitcoin, who is kind of he's been doing a lot of work to help her with her user-created asset, Tatiana Coin. So essentially, you acquire Tatiana Coins. Tatiana Coin is over counterparty, so you can use Bitcoin addresses for this, which is great. So you acquire Tatiana Coins, and you can use them for any number of things: concert tickets, swag. There were I can't recall the other things that she lists, but if you go to TatianaCoin.com, there's a great little video there that'll teach you about her project, a little bit more about her. Her music's on there. She's a great person, like a great mind, and a strong female presence in the space in general. But also, you know, her talent speaks for itself. And she's been doing more and more and more Bitcoin work. You know, she kind of comes from the libertarian side of things. Ron Paul, I know she was involved in the Ron Paul campaigns in 2007 and 2011. And, you know, as many of us who, you know, maybe came to Bitcoin through, let's say, libertarianism or something, have kind of seen that Bitcoin is kind of the way that we can actually get what we wish we could have had with, say, electing someone. We can get it today actually just using Bitcoin. Just opt into Bitcoin, and you can experience today, right now, the things you would hope to have one of these politicians actualize for you down the line. So instead of waiting and hoping on a prayer for that stuff to happen, start using Bitcoin and get involved with these altcoins and these innovations, these 2.0 things. Tatiana Coin is one of these early experiments. It's out now. It's launched, so you can go and support her project. She's
I support her, and I support it, but why wouldn't I just send Tatiana Bitcoin? Like, I'm interested. I'm like, oh yeah, I should have a Peace News Now coin or a Bitcoin Talk Show coin. But I just want
the answer I would give would be that it's on Counterparty, so it is using Bitcoin addresses, and it's a new experiment. You know, I'll just speak for myself. You know,
because it's a new experiment, you usually do it because it serves a purpose. So, like, what's the purpose?
I think the purpose it serves is to support Tatiana and her music. I think that a lot of these artist-based coins, let's be honest about it, they're promoting and they're for the artist. So if you buy their CD and you have an extra $5 in Tatiana coin left over, you're going to hold that and wait for the next CD, maybe buy another poster. You're not necessarily going to be transferring it out, so that the artist will get to keep your $20 the whole time, and you can hold the extra $5. You know?
Like, look at it this way, I would say it's like this. Like, a lot of artists had a MySpace page back when MySpace was big, and a lot of their fan base went there, but much of their fan base never went to an artist's MySpace page. Nowadays, artists have websites, and maybe they have a forum on their website or some sort of, you know, unique social media thing they're trying to do, and they have some traffic in there. Probably a lot of it is faked, you know, which is fine. I'm totally cool with faked traffic. That's great, but you know, they're trying to have a community.
Wait a minute, back up. Why is that great?
I'm not totally cool with fake traffic.
Oh, I'm totally cool with fake traffic because that's how you bootstrap a lot of things. That's how Reddit happened. That's how PayPal happened. That's how lots of these really awesome things that we have now started, is with a lot of faked traffic. That's how you bootstrap. You know, you got to populate your databases.
Who's interested in fake traffic?
It's not fake. It's like, you know, internally generated traffic that then seeds and invites external traffic to come, right? So what I'm saying is about these artists, if we can get off on this debate, but I was wanting to talk about, you know.
You can talk about anything. It's your show.
Well, here's where I'd like to take this. So these music artists, they try to develop a community because they want retention, you know. They don't want people going and downloading stuff for free. They want people to, you know, give them the royalties and stuff like that from purchasing, you know, going through the old system, right? So, and they're trying to innovate a little bit, and they're trying to keep their customers retained through these communities or social media presences or whatever. And a lot of that's successful, like Twitter. Doing that on Twitter is really successful. But again, you're in the Twitter ecosystem. You're not in the private artist ecosystem. So something like this incentivizes much more so than, say, some online forum or a website for an artist. You know, a user-created asset much more so incentivizes a community that wants to support an artist to stick around and actually, like, build a healthy community and grow the artist's platform, and also give back directly, like directly give value back beyond just listening and enjoying the pleasure of the music or the visual art, in the case of visual art or whatever. You actually have value back, you know. So it does, you know, there's all this debate about these altcoins not having intrinsic value or user-created assets, like diluting the market and stuff like that. I think we'll see time bear out that, again, it's these communities that give this stuff, give the token value, right? The platform has value because it can create this ecosystem, this community, and the network effect shows that, you know, as it grows, compounding the value more and more. So I think that's where it's so powerful to do a coin like this, whether you're crowdfunding or sustaining traffic for your art or your media platform, in the case of LTB coin, or your startup company, if you want to, like, issue an IPO right off the bat that way and crowdfund your company idea that way, or yourself, like, you know, you've proven that you're an effective, like, for example, like, I think of someone like Jonathan Mohan in New York City. You know, he's a self-made man, really, and he's a great talker, he's a good, smart mind, and he's a great, like networker, and he gathers people, and he activates people, he motivates people, and he builds community. And there aren't really jobs for that. There are kind of, but they're not really. So like someone like him might want to issue his self-IPO, you know, Mohan coin or whatever, and people who want his freelance work, you know, don't have, you know, you can get around lots of the bottlenecks in freelancing with something like this. And that's essentially what Tatiana is. She's a freelance musician. That's kind of what all musicians are, unless they're signed to a label, which Tatiana is not, as far as I know. So yeah, it's, again, this is like the swarm economy, right? Everyone's a freelancer. And doing these altcoins and user-created assets activates that. And I'm excited to see what happens.
That's great to hear, Will. And while we were talking about Tatiana Moroz and Tatiana Coin, I can announce that tomorrow on World Crypto Network, we will be joined by Tatiana Moroz, the beneficiary of Tatiana Coin. She might even sing a song. Very cool stuff. But we're not sure on the time yet. Tomorrow it's going to go out on Twitter, so just keep checking Twitter at MadBitcoins. We'll put the link out there. Not sure on the time, but Tatiana Coin, very cool. And the rest of these coins are cool too, but I'm not sure what they have over a system like Patreon. Patreon, that's patron with an E, at patreon.com/madbitcoins, is a crowdfunding system for artists. You can donate by video, or you can set it up to donate monthly. And once you donate, you get access to a special behind-the-scenes community where you can talk directly to the artist and see video and other links. As you can see, I've created 306 videos on YouTube, but I have 373 activities on Patreon. That means that there are 70 things that you can't see that are trapped on Patreon that you'd have to pay to get access to. I think it's a neat system and similar to what they're doing with these coins, but there's no presumption of value. There's a certain presumption of value with these coins where the Tatiana coins are being auctioned off a certain number of coins per day. A daily auction, it looks like, of about 100,000 coins. And depending on how much money is donated on that day depends upon the price of Tatiana coins. So there is, while you are buying music and you are supporting an artist, there is some element of profit here. Some people are trying to buy cheaper coins. They're trying to sell them for more than they paid for. But what I would say basically about this, when we were talking about it a few minutes ago, is that the first rule of acquisition is once you have their money, never give it back. So I was talking about the change. And let's say that you gave Tatiana $20 for a CD that only cost $15. There's a theoretical $5 there that's left over. Now, if you were the label or if you were the artist, you'd want to try to keep on to and hold on to those $5. So if you already converted your money from Bitcoin to Tatiana coin, it might not be that easy to convert it back out. You also might be able to buy smaller things at her website, interest, you know, access to the artist, a special hangout, the ability to ask a question in a question and answer, something that you want answered that normally you can't get access for, but if you had a little bit of the artist's coin, maybe a few dollars, you could get access to that kind of superior internet connectivity content. So it's that kind of extra thing that I think these coins are for. And the idea that maybe I'd say, well, I like Tatiana's music, so I'm just going to hold the $5 there and wait. Maybe she'll have an EP or a single I can pay $3 or $4 for. Maybe a year from now I can put down another 10 to go with my 5 and I can get another CD. So it's that kind of idea where eventually your account isn't so much for profit, but your account is holding out there for these artists. You know, I like Radiohead. I have $5 in my Radiohead account. I have $10 in my REM account, but maybe I have $15 in my Tatiana coin account. I'm just waiting for new releases from these artists, and if they eventually it comes down to exclusivity. If the artists are willing to only sell their work for their coin, they're creating a controlled market. He's got this, you know, incredible power where you have to trade for their coins. So the exclusivity is the key. We're joined by Theo, who's upside down.
Yeah. Can
Theo,
you hear
what do you
me?
think about artist coins? Good deal? Bad deal?
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. You're upside down.
Excellent. Okay, yeah. Yeah, well, I had to switch computers because the one with the right side up camera, it was just too slow, or I don't know what was going on. I think it's a cool idea. I like it. I mean, it could even develop into the coin itself as a piece of art, depending on how it's created and its properties or whatever. I mean, you could play the guitar, and then from the guitar would you would create a mathematical algorithm, and that would be the new algorithm. You know, so Theo has the guitar, and then like you hook up this thing that reads the mathematical equation of the sound, and then that creates like your own fingerprint algorithm of that artist, for example. I mean, you could get really into it if you want. I think I'm more interested in how Tatiana does it technically. So I guess she just has like a closed network. I guess you
Well,
can't.
the technical ideas here is you don't want your coin to be mined. Your
Yeah.
average artist
Okay.
doesn't have a bunch of computer geeks that are going to mine it like Dogecoin to support the network, to have the
Yeah.
security of the network. These are we're all really talking meta coins now.
Yeah.
I believe Tatiana coin is on Counterparty. I'm not very sure about how Counterparty works. Sometimes you can take tokens and like destroy them to create other
Yeah.
tokens. Like you would take a Bitcoin and you would
Ah.
turn it into 1,000 Tatiana coins, and then those 1,000 coins would be worth a Bitcoin. I'm
Is that
pretty sure
called
in
proof?
this case they just took a bunch of counterparty coins or something and then created this coin on top of that coin. So,
Okay. So
so
they
yeah,
just used another, went on top of the blockchain of another coin, kind of.
yep, yeah. So
Okay.
it's its own like little
Okay.
ecosystem. There's only 3 million Tatiana coins total. I guess 5.6% of them have been auctioned off so far on our website, and it's going to be just a daily auction until they run out of the coins. So it really is. It's a fundraiser for an artist.
Yeah, I mean, I have mixed feelings about fundraisers for artists, but I mean, if it works for that artist and their fans, then great, go for it. You know what I mean? I mean, for me, I have an issue with like, if when I'm the artist, I'm just like begging for money. I don't like that. That's just my thing, you know?
It's
I mean,
also you have to
yeah,
put yourself in the shoes of a fan, someone that really likes a thing. Like if you had a favorite
yeah,
music or favorite band, and you had their CD, you have their poster, you have their T-shirt, you went to see their show, you're looking for a little bit more. And if they had their own coin, you think they'd be able to do a live hangout like this with their fans. They'd be able to do an interactive Q&A, and it kind of allows you. Because one thing I like about the Patreon activity community is it's pretty much only people who like mad bitcoins. So there's nobody in
mm,
there really saying bad things, saying they don't like it, da 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 da. And I'm
okay,
sure with a bigger artist with like a real following, you have a whole bunch of jerks that just want to say terrible things to drag you down because they're jerks. So having
sure,
those people pay, $5 in Tatiana coin to get into the hangout, that could make a much more civil hangout, a point where the fans could
yeah,
talk to each other, maybe even get to know the other fans, because you
hmm,
obviously have a lot in common. You like the same musician,
sure,
that kind
sure,
of thing. So that kind of thing, making it more interactive, that I like. And then obviously, I mean, I think they should just be more transparent. It's a fundraiser. We want you to buy something and then keep your change in our coin and kind of forget about it, and then we get to keep all of your money all the time. So
No, I like the idea. It's a good idea, and yeah, maybe next we'll see a 50 cent coin or you know whatever. I mean,
50 Cent, Snoop Dogg, Mel B have all said they want to sell their albums in Bitcoin. And once they learn about how real easy, like Bitcoin is just a blockchain. Like even
yeah,
Tatiana Coin as a meta coin on top of Counterparty, and Counterparty's its own technical thing, and Meta Coin's its own technical thing. It's really just a blockchain, right? It's a ledger. It's a shared ledger of I've got 10 coins and you've got 10 coins, and I send 2 to you, and now I've got 8 and you've got 12. Let's update the ledger. It's that kind of idea. It's simple to copy that ledger and make it the 50 Cent ledger, to make it the Snoop Dogg ledger. It's not. We're not. I mean, you don't need a real. It's funny. You need someone like Satoshi Nakamoto to do it the first time, but after that, you just kind of come in and copy what he did. It's not. There's not that much more to it, I don't think.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's a good idea.
I'm getting a lot of calls today. I
Yeah.
just remember this is a call-in show. I'm gonna open up Skype here on my computer, and I'm
How
gonna
many
update the.
how many people are watching?
Well, that's the real strange part about people not calling in, because people are definitely watching today. We have 30 viewers right now, which is way up. I think a lot of that's due to being featured on the Follow the Coin website. So thank you to followthecoin.com for featuring us today. They gave me the ability to do that, so until they take that ability away, you'll be seeing us around there. I'm updating our Skype link from Bitcoin Talk Show to Skype World Crypto Network, and I'm opening up the World Crypto Network Skype client, which has now been improved. So I have the latest version of Skype, including performance improvements and general fixes. Thank you, Skype, for telling me everything that I didn't want to know about your program.
So, have you heard about this new thing, proof of chain?
I heard it mentioned briefly on last week's show, but I don't really know what it is. What is proof of chain?
Well, I'll try my best to explain it. I'm still also kind of learning about it.
Sure.
Basically, this coin has been released called Clam Coin, and or I think it's called Clam Client. I'm not sure which term they prefer, and yeah, they use something called proof of chain. So basically, they took a bunch of Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Dogecoin addresses and assigned clam coins to those addresses that have already been used. I think their addresses where the outputs were not used yet. So somehow they used the blockchain to find addresses with no outputs, and they said I don't know how many million of these clams they sent out. And then what you do is you download the Clam client, and then you import a private key into that client from either Litecoin, Dogecoin, or Bitcoin, or all of them, and then you see how many clams you have. That's how it works.
That is very confusing. I have no idea. I'm very
well,
sorry.
basically,
I'm very sorry, proof of chain, but I don't get it.
Yeah, well, a lot of people don't get it, and basically, it's free coin. So instead of proof of stake,
free coins. Hold on there.
It's 100. No, okay, basically, so I'll talk in some better language. Basically, it's free coins. They're on an exchange, and they actually have an okay value. All you got to do is download the wallet, and you can import your Bitcoin, Litecoin, or Dogecoin private keys, or your wallet DAT basically, into that client, and then you see how many clams you get. Okay, that sounds really suspicious.
That sounds
right?
incredibly risky. I don't suggest that anyone do that. No one should ever import your private keys into anything, even if Theo thinks it's a good idea. No,
hey, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it exists, and I'm saying that I did it, and my bitcoins that I used, so the private keys linked to the bitcoins that I used are still there. Everything went fine, and I even did a test. I did a wallet password protect on those private keys in my client, and then I exported it, and then I imported it into the Clam client, and it worked fine. So you don't even.
Yeah, but who's to stop you from just moving those bitcoins to another account and then putting that other account in and saying, "Hey, I want Clam coins for these too"?
I think you can't do that because they're already. I think you can only claim them one time.
What if I move them through like a mixing device, and then on the other side I have those bitcoins?
Hey, I don't know. I mean, I understand the basics, but
I understand what they're saying about trying to trade in the other coins and getting like meta coins that are valuable. But I still wouldn't put my private keys in any program if I had the choice. So
sure, of course not. But like I said, I mean, basically you encrypt your private key and it will still work. So they would have to have your private key and the password you use to encrypt it in order to get the private key anyway. So there's still a level.
Still one level left.
One level left, exactly. But hold on, let me find the Twitter of it, and then I can find the link on because it's on Bitcoin Talk, and people are saying the same stuff that you're saying, basically. Like,
I mean, it
yeah,
sounds cool, but like, if I can think of it, they can think of it, and if they can think of it, they can write a script that'll do it automatically, and then it doesn't matter. Like,
what do you mean they can do a script that does it
well,
automatically?
just what I'm saying here about send it through an anonymous mixer, take one Bitcoin, create one clam coin, send it through a mixer, use that Bitcoin to create another clam coin, repeat. Like that would be the script.
I think they figured out. I think they figured out somehow not to do it. Okay,
They can't beat the mixer,
what I'm
man. They
sharing?
can't beat the mixer.
I don't know. Okay, see the I'm sharing this the
Oh, yeah, I'm looking at it.
yeah. Introducing the most widely held cryptocurrency ever, the Clam client.
The most everything's always the most ever.
Yeah, but I don't know. I really like their concept.
Mm.
Clams have been sent to over 3.1 million unique addresses pulled from the Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Doge blockchain. If you own Bitcoin, Litecoin, or Doge, chances are you own some Clam. Okay,
So it's like it is like a contest. Like the clams might not be there. It's only in certain addresses that the clams are there. So you're really digging
exactly.
for clams. Like, which is a cute idea, but I would never trade my private keys for a cute idea. This could be the greatest scam ever. Like, if I was them, I would
Yeah.
have everybody digging for clams until it hit a certain point, and then suddenly I would be the one digging for clams, and those clams would be your bitcoins. So.
Yeah. How would you do that though?
Well, they gave you their private addresses. I would put all the private addresses in a database, and I would wait till I had a certain number of bitcoins, and then once I hit the certain number, the other program would run automatically, emptying everyone's wallet. So
Yeah.
I don't know how
Yeah.
specifically. I don't know how I do that, but like the basic steps are there, and if I can
I
think of
mean,
the basic steps, somebody smarter than me can code it all up. So.
I mean, yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't know. I mean, your theory sounds, kind of doable. I mean, like I said, I mean, it worked with the password protected wallet DAT file. So I don't know how they're gonna have access to those keys if they don't have my password. Right now, Clam is worth.
You just have to bundle a keylogger in with the wallet program.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Um, yeah, but anyway, 0.01. So they're pretty valuable. They're worth 0.001 Bitcoin, basically, and it's free. So you can claim your free clams, and yeah, it's called proof of chain. So there's no mining involved, and it's not proof of stake. It's proof of chain. It's a new thing. And I thought maybe it would be a good idea to do a proof of chain of clam. So do a proof of chain inside the proof of chain. But yeah, there's an ongoing discussion about it on the message board, and it's interesting. But I think it's a legit idea. Nobody has found. I mean, there people are posting, yeah, watch out, kind of like you and all. But there's nobody has found anything in any of the code or whatever. So.
Well, I hope it's okay, but I'm not suggesting to anyone that they do it. It's still very risky. But
Well,
let's
you can
move on.
buy them.
You can buy them just straight up. Yeah, well,
You can straight up buy them.
yeah,
you
you
know.
can invest in anything.
That is true. Yeah, 100% distributed before launch. Yeah,
Well, and
great.
they're in those things, but what if someone figured out where all those things were and they reverse engineered it and they got them all? Like, I don't know. There's a
Yeah,
lot
yeah.
of ways to.
Like you just sent all the clams to yourself, basically.
Yeah, or someone
Yeah,
figured
that's what
out
I thought.
the clams were in every third wallet, and they just said, "Oh, I'm just going to go through every third wallet and steal all the clams." But I don't
Yeah.
know.
Well, basically the discussion now is that the exchanges, all the Bitcoin at exchanges, theoretically, the exchanges could claim a whole bunch of clams because they have control of the wallets.
Yeah, that's again like
Yeah.
like I don't know. I keep seeing it as like a really great scam. Like I'm like, yeah, let's get the exchanges to link all their accounts up with our clam program. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, that's a good one,
Hey,
buddy. Like I just don't see it at all.
I don't know. I don't know. I've seen a lot of more announcements that look scammier than this one. But anyway, that's the newest algorithm, or well, I don't know. It's not really an algorithm.
Well, it's a coin idea. It's a good altcoin idea.
Specification.
It's an interesting idea.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let's go over to question and answers. If anyone's watching on YouTube, you can click through in the link, or maybe you're using the Google Hangout app on your phone. You can actually ask us a question right from the app. So let's see. Our first question is from Wayne. Wayne says that the Bilderberg Group has been meeting. He heard that one of the topics was the Russia-China $400 billion oil deal, plus the ruble, yuan, and he says Bitcoin will be used as payments. The dollar is walking dead. So I haven't heard of that deal, but it would be a very big deal if you could buy oil in any currency other than the US dollar. There's currently a very large petrodollar monopoly being enforced by the United States. And yeah, it would be a big deal if Russia and China broke free from that. For those of you who don't know who the Bilderberg Group is, you shouldn't know. It's not something that you know. The Bilderberg Group is a group of rich people that meet every year to plan out their rich society. We don't really know what happens there, but they meet. Here's an article from thebitcoinchannel.com. It says, must see. Bilderberg member speaks out in TDV's Week in Review, the Dollar Vigilante. And he talks about their meeting, and he says, when asked if Bitcoin was discussed in the meeting, Sampson quickly replied, no. When Peter Thiel was mentioned, Sampson said, well, he should be one of you, hearing from what he has to say. He has quite some libertarian point of views. No government, no taxes, no new world order. It's what you love, I guess. Scoff. He said no taxes, no regulations, no whatever. It's very nice. When asked if he disagreed with Thiel, Sampson said, I did, but there are few people that don't disagree with him. There's different views amongst you, too. I think there are different views about is raising taxes good. So, very interesting words from the Bilderberg conference. It's not really covered in the mainstream media. I'm not sure why. From what I've been told and what I've read about it, it's a gathering of large CEOs, diplomats, heads of countries, rich people, and
Royalty.
it's the kind of thing that should be advertised on television, that they're meeting up. And it's perfectly acceptable.
This year, the Bilderberg Group published an agenda. So usually the agenda is totally secret. And this year, I guess as for public relations, they published an official agenda. Of course, there's already some internet sites that say that's not the real agenda, that's just, you know, a distraction. But Bilderberg knows that more and more people are covering it as a topic. Every year they have the meeting, and I think a few years ago it wasn't as big of a deal when they would meet.
I think it's only with the advent of the internet and more internet journalists, or whatever you want to call them, like Alex Jones, who have been going to this meeting and standing outside and filming it and protesting and just in general trying to call attention to the fact that this meeting exists.
I'm going to get you! I'm going to get you! You guys come out! No, I'm sorry, I'm doing my Alex Jones.
There it is. All you need there is a megaphone. It was really too convincing. I think the people at home are terrified that Alex is going to join us here. But yeah, I mean, it's good. It's good to get the word out there. These people are rich. They're meeting. They're planning something. We should talk about it. There's nothing wrong with that. And as far as Bitcoin, it's interesting to hear them talking about it. Interesting to hear them dismissing it. Interesting to see what they say next. Moving on to our next question. Says, BitShares allows you to trade your company's shares on the blockchain. So if you have a great idea, instead of opening a company with your distributed BitShares of your decentralized anonymous company, and they get your share of the profit as investors in your idea. Sounds like a very cool idea. Theo, what do you think of BitShares?
BitShares sounds good. Like I said, I haven't investigated all of the technical possibilities with it, but yeah, it sounds like an interesting project, and yeah, since I haven't really taken a lot of look at it. I don't know exactly what you can do with it, to be honest.
I know that something similar to BitShares happened recently. As it says here in this Forbes article, the first Bitcoin 2.0 crowd sale was a wildly successful $7 million disaster. And this is, of course, talking about the MadeSafe sale, where MadeSafe, a system that's designed to store your clouds in an encrypted darknet on someone else's computer, raised $7 million in 5 hours by selling MadeSafe coin, which was a coin that was being used to promote the company, like an IPO. But instead of buying the stock, you'd buy the coin. It looks like the price went way up when the investment started. Then I think it went way down. Now they're saying 2 weeks after the sale closed, the SEC published an investor alert warning people in the crypto community of fraudsters and promoters of high-risk investment schemes. So it doesn't look like it's directly related.
So it's basically that was about shares in that whole system. They're selling shares. And are the shares based on a blockchain or?
I believe it was it looks like it's Master Exchange. I think it was a Master Coin type coin. So it's similar to Tatiana coin, where it was a coin on top of a coin. It's a
right. Yeah, okay. Yeah, well, that's a good way to do if you want to make shares of your company or something like that. Then I think I would go that direction rather than making my own altcoin, because it's I mean, I don't really know how much trouble it is to make your own wallet or other systems for a metacoin like that, but then you don't have to worry about securing the network and all that kind of stuff if you're just doing a bootstrap of the blockchain.
It's very interesting. It says here that during the sale, you could buy more MadeSafe coins if you turned your Bitcoins into Mastercoin first and then bought SafeCoin, and that this caused the price of Mastercoin to skyrocket.
Oh.
A very interesting accident there, or mistakes. They thought it would take 30 days to sell off the coins, but the sale ended within 5 hours. Looks like some early investors were Roger Ver, the founder of Vinnie Lingham, the founder of Gift, and Jared Kenna of TradeHill. Right. Oh, now they say they're not involved. They don't want to be on the list. There's a lot of confusion in this article. Looks like Kashmir Hill contacted Mr. Irving via Skype a few days after the crowd sale. Very strange. Someone said that stolen Bitcoin from Mt. Gox had gone into the crowd sale, but that was just an incorrect tagging of an account on the blockchain. Fascinating. MadeSafe wound up with $3 million in Bitcoin after paying back a loan to BitAngels. Pretty good. Funding for 3 years at the startup's currently monthly tag of $100,000 a month for operations. They're also holding a rapidly depreciating Mastercoin. Guess they get 2.5 million in Mastercoin. That's funny. They drove up the price of Mastercoin. Now they kind of need another event to drive up the price of Mastercoin so they could dump it all. They really ended up holding a bag there.
Yeah.
Oh, we thought we would have 7 million, but we have just 3 million. That's a bummer.
You know, that's really interesting that Forbes picked this up as a big story. I mean, they wrote a really detailed story about it. You know?
That's true. Well, it's Kashmir Hill. She's been doing a lot of Bitcoin stories in the past year.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting here they quote Ryan Galt from 2-Bit Idiot as saying that, yeah, the pump and dump happened, but you've got to be early when you get into a hot new coin-related startup. You better be ready to buy the second it goes live. So the lesson to be learned here is that you just should have got in earlier. That's great.
Okay, this guy's nickname is 2-Bit Idiot?
That's very true. You haven't heard of this guy?
No,
This is
I
the
missed
guy who
that.
wrote the big article against the Bitcoin Foundation saying he was going to take them down and that the Bitcoin Foundation should all resign instantly. And then no one did that. And he came back and nothing happened.
Okay.
But I do think he was I think he was nominated for a blockchain award. He might have won. So pretty cool. But Mastercoin has 9 more crowd sales planned in the coming months. So 9 more chances to get in on MadeSafe Coin or something else with Mastercoin. 9 more chances for MadeSafe to dump all their Mastercoin as well. So hold on to that one. Keep your eyes open. So that was a good article there. We also think, got another question here. He says, do you think a lack of community as active, vibrant as altcoins will threaten the decentralized nature of Bitcoin, both in mining and how it interacts with the world, like the Bitcoin Foundation? I think there's still an active Bitcoin community. It's just not the same as the Dogecoin community. That's all it is. I mean, and the Bitcoin community has been around a lot longer now. There are several, thousands, tens of thousands of early adopters who bought Bitcoin years ago. And they're probably a little tired and a little jaded and not too interested in the Dogecoin antics. It does seem like a generational divide where the Dogecoiners are the young new children, very excited about everything, and the older Bitcoiners are more, yeah, we've been there, we've done that, we've done cryptocurrency for a while now. So I think it's just a divide there. I also think the Bitcoin community is larger, and that all of these altcoin communities, at the end of the day, we're all Bitcoiners. You should be coming back to Bitcoin. Respect to your altcoin. It's an exciting new thing. It's a cool community, whatever it is. At the end of the day, you're going to come back to Bitcoin. It's going to be accepted more places. There's more adoption going on. There's more apps. And until that isn't true, Bitcoin is still the one. So, got another question. He says, do we need a black phone instead of an iPhone or an Android? Well, let's see what a black phone is. We're going to blackphone.ch, and the black phone is telling us about privacy, choice, and control. It's a revolutionary web page, and at one time they won a Best MWC, Best Web Page from PC Magazine.
Maybe maybe they're owned by a government data mining organization.
Get a secure phone, and again, then we'll spy on you even more. That's not a bad idea. No, I mean, I don't know that you'd need a specific phone like that. I think Theo's right. It's more likely to be a data mine itself than to actually be an invisible smartphone.
I mean, it might not be. I don't want to say, and I don't know that company. I don't want to, give them. They might be authentic. I mean, basically, they're just selling a kind of service where they probably have, set up the phone with all the programs that you can download anyway. Most of them are for free anyway, and it's ready to go. It's just like a press one button solution, but for that you compromise some of the security if you're not doing it yourself. So you gotta, just use your brain a little and decide if you really want a third party to secure your phone or not. I mean, would you go to the one of these mobile phone repair shops where they repair the glass, and it also has a sign, yeah, we'll make your phone into a black phone? I mean, I wouldn't trust my phone with that guy either, you know what I mean? So
it also looks like they have their own hardware. Maybe I guess it's an Android-based operating system. So you can run a private OS Android-based operating system. You'd probably be better off doing it yourself. Not having a smartphone, I don't know. It's really tough. Privacy's been very dead for a long time, and now with the NSA stories, everyone else is learning it. So it's nice to have the rest of you guys come on board and learn what's happened to our privacy.
What they need to do, or I mean, I read a little bit on the forums about it, but someone that's really good at programming needs to figure out how to get a BitMessage Android app going, because there isn't one. And BitMessage is a really interesting technology for communication and a lot of other things. And but there's no Android app or any kind of app for BitMessage. You have to use a computer. So if there was one for Android, then you could do a lot of things. I don't know if you're familiar with BitMessage.
I've heard about it, but I haven't tried it out. I think it was
You've got to try it out. What you
last
need to
time.
do now, after the show or during the show, is download BitMessage and then get an address. You could even create on the BitMessage, well, I guess technically it is a kind of blockchain. Um, you could create a Mad Bitcoins channel. So it's kind of like a CB channel, sort of, you know? And because you don't know really who you're talking to. I mean, you can create a channel like that, or you can create more like private conversations. You can do a lot of things. So it's pretty interesting once you get into it. And
Well, it sounds very cool. Everyone should check out BitMessage. We only have one more question. He says, what about phone blocks? I think this is a company that was partnered with Google or somehow related to Google and Android. What this is supposed to be is a phone that's broken up into pieces so that if you wanted to upgrade the camera on your phone, you could buy a new camera module and put that in. It sounds like a cool idea. It also sounds like a real easy way to leave your block at home. Oh, I don't have my camera with me because it's not a part of my phone. Sounds really terrible. So,
I would be really skeptical of anything involving privacy and phone and Google.
I don't think this one's really I don't know that this is a privacy type phone.
Okay. Okay.
My understanding is basically these little modules are all the parts of the phone.
Then maybe someone needs to make one of these modules, like a dark coin module or something like that.
I think that's probably what he's going for. Is maybe if they had a special encrypted data module for this, you could do that. But we're going to about the end of the show here, and just wanted to remind everyone that tomorrow on World Crypto Network we'll be joined by Tatiana Moroz, who will be talking about Tatiana McCoin, and she might even sing a song. And that you're watching Bitcoin Talk Show on the World Crypto Network. We'll be back next week at Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Time, 3 o'clock on the East. Theo, is there anything you'd like to say to the people before we say good night for today?
Don't forget to collect your clams.
Don't forget to collect your clams. And on that, we're going to close. So thanks for joining us on Bitcoin Talk Show. Bye-bye.